This futuristic shell-shaped building is the first stadium to be completed for the 2022 Football World Cup in Qatar. Inaugurated just a few months ago, the venue boasts a feature to combat the searing desert heat: air conditioning.
41.6. You notice it's dropping already. And welcome to our microclimate bubble, which is Al Wakra Stadium.
Along the length of the stadium, dozens of vents blow cool air onto the pitch.
17.5 degrees C.
Average summer temperatures in Qatar can reach the mid-40s. So for the first time, the World Cup has been moved to the end of the year. Even then, temperatures can surpass 30 degrees Celsius. The idea of staging the World Cup in the desert has been contentious since its announcement. The organising committee insists they are doing everything possible to limit the impact on the environment, and it's a message they're determined to underline. In this rooftop laboratory, they're testing 36 different types of grass. The aim is to find the grass that stays the greenest and also consumes the least amount of feed. But the most important factor in this desert nation is water.
The usage of the water is more than 20% less than our normal pitch grass.
Qatar is also building the world's first fully reusable stadium. Made up of dozens of shipping containers, it can be torn down and used elsewhere. But there is a dark side. Mistreatment of hundreds of thousands of immigrant workers has been criticized by unions and human rights groups. Reports of squalid conditions and months of unpaid wages have cast a dark shadow over the World Cup. With the world watching, Qatar is trying to improve its image. This camp is one of the new facilities aimed at improving working conditions. Workers on the site take a break between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. to escape the hottest part of the day. Most come from Africa, India, Bangladesh and Nepal. They work 11-hour days, 6 days a week, and only return home once a year. This worker tells us he makes around €315 a month, but that conditions here are better than where he came from.
Way back home, you not get free transport, free accommodation, free food. You not get that. But here you get all that, so I think it's quite different from way back home.
Experts agree that conditions have improved in recent years, but of the hundreds of thousands of workers, only around 40,000 are housed inside these sites. We heard of another camp just a few kilometers away where conditions are not so agreeable. We see several people around the area, but before we have time to ask anybody any questions, we are stopped by the police. They let us go on the promise that we won't return here to film anymore. As we were being led away, it was obvious that the systematic mistreatment of workers is still a sensitive subject.
We know that a lot of people are dying, but we don't know how many are dying and we don't know why they're dying. And that's because the Qatari authorities just refuse to release the data. They also don't do autopsies. So bodies are simply put in coffins and sent home to their families. The families never find out why they died. They do not get compensation unless there's an accident.
FIFA has admitted that workers' rights have been violated. The Qatari authorities claim that 11 construction workers have died within the last year, but this figure is disputed. In a recent documentary by German broadcaster WDR, the Nepalese government said 111 of their citizens had died this year alone. The same documentary claimed over 1,400 workers have died since construction began. And this shocking figure could get worse. A report published by the International Trades Union Confederation estimated that 4,000 could die before the start of the World Cup in 2022.